buying cars through PistonHeads or selling cars through PistonHeads.
Yeah,
because they tended to advertise the kind of cars that I was interested in.
Of course, and you were very much at the higher end stuff as well back then. You kind of lowered your more Skodering now. Whereas...
oh, that's a nasty little dig, isn't it?
Welcome back to The Gassing Station, powered by Michelin, the podcast that goes digging through the PistonHeads forums for just interesting stuff for me and my co-host John to talk about. I'm Cam Tate, and my aforementioned co-host John Howell is right with me. John, how's it going? You all good?
I'm all right, Cam.
Fantastic.
Excellent.
Great.
Are you good?
Yeah. You.
How good are you? Scale of 1 to 10.
6.5.
Oh, that's not that good.
I'm quite a harsh critic, though. You know
yourself.
You know people who give car reviewers who do star reviews. They give 5 stars out of whatever, and they'll go, "It's a 5-star car," and they'll list 1,000 things that are wrong with it. I'm not like that. If there's something wrong with it, I'm happy to give a 3-star, even though I've never worked anywhere that does proper star reviews.
Well, funny enough, I remember writing a review for a magazine that I probably shouldn't mention, but basically, it turned out you couldn't give anything fewer than 3 stars.
Right.
That was it. And
great system.
This is my first ever review. It's a major title. It's one of the biggies, and my first ever review. So it was for what was it for? It was for a Volvo V40, I think, the one that was built off the Focus platform. And I drove the car. It was really expensive. It had quite a small boot, absolutely no backseat space. Didn't drive very well. Was quite thirsty. Basically, there was nothing good about the car. Yeah. And so I looked at that and looked at it against its competitors. Nobody was telling me how to review the cars or assess them or whatever. So I looked in the back of the magazine, and it says, this gives you a guide for the star rating. It says 5 stars this, 4 stars, all the kind of things. And I looked down all at this and I thought, 1.5 stars is about that. Yep, that fits everything that I've reviewed and assessed for this car over. So I put the review up and gave it 1.5 stars. Well, Cameron, that caused, I may as well have just, posted a picture of me doing a poo.
Similar reaction.
Yeah. The whole office and editorial directors and everything else coming down and going, what have you done? Yeah. You can't give fewer than 3 stars. No. But I was like, it makes sense. No, don't read that. That doesn't mean anything.
Honestly.
So that's how,
well, that's why we bring you on, because you're a proper journalist who doesn't care about star ratings. We don't have
Well, I got overruled. They changed it. 3.5 stars.
See, that's honestly, that's
so bad.
That's why I'm not going to name any publications, but we don't, as I said, we don't do stars here at PH. We let the community decide.
I love that. That's also. I will say that as a journalist, sometimes you are quite relieved. Because there's nothing, it can be really tough, especially if you're working for a magazine that doesn't do half stars. Yeah. So you've got to, there's either 3, and I have, I've written for magazines that do give 1 star, and they go, no, that's it, it's not very good, 1 star. But when you've got a kind of on the cusp thing, and it's like, well, it could be 3, but it could just push to a 4, and there's a big difference there. So because obviously if you're working for some of the titles, you give half stars and you go, oh well, there you go, I'll just give it 3.5, job done, everyone's happy. But a manufacturer can get quite upset between a 3-star review, which still isn't, it's above average, but 4 stars is very good, right? So that's when it becomes quite tricky. And there are times writing for PistonHeads where you really like a car for all the wrong reasons.
Yes.
And then you're thinking, if I had to give a star rating, it would be...
Absolutely. That's
why... But then you just go, you decide. It's like Big Brother, isn't it? No.
That's why I think it's a system that I'm personally not all that into. I've never written or been in the payroll of somewhere that uses a star system. But that's the great thing about PH is that, we're not always going after the buyer who will look at a star and go, well, that's it. I remember driving the Maserati Ghibli Trofeo a few years ago.
1 star.
Which is not a stellar...
1 star.
Not a stellar car compared to really anything. But you know what? I had such a good time driving it. Because, inside it felt so cheap. And, bizarre because you've got all that kind of Italian leather with not FCA, is it anymore? Stellantis switchgear, and it all kind of feels really cheap. But then the engine is just incredible. It's such a lovely engine. You would have to think extremely differently to other people to get up in the morning and go, yeah, I'm going to buy a Ghibli Trofeo over everything else. But you would have so much fun driving it. But yeah, that's the good thing about PH, is that you can write what you feel is right about the car, and we don't have that like, oh, you can't say that about it because it's so other people might, get uppity about it. No, if you don't like a car and you can explain your reasons why, as I have done before, it goes up, and that's why PH is the best. John, I actually want to talk about a PistonHeads car.
Go on.
And it's a car that I had a part in building, which might put you off from buying it.
Don't buy it. If Cameron's done any work, especially if he's done any works on the brakes, don't buy the car. I'm really sorry.
I did do some work on the brakes,
PistonHeads, but I'm having now to consciously say to people, this is safety.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I didn't build it, and I didn't actually have that much input in what we chose, because it was a group effort. We PistonHeads project car.
Oh, the project
from
car
2 years ago is coming up for auction on PistonHeads.
Where's that been hiding?
Well, we actually gave it away at the end of the series.
Of course you did.
Yeah, so it was we built it over the first half of 23, and then at the end of the year, we handed it off to a winner who's enjoyed it for a wee bit. I think it's then moved over potentially to another owner, and now it's coming up for auction. And it's got 114,000 miles on the clock, so it's been used a little bit.
What was it when you...
About 100. I think I ticked it over to 101. This is a car that I've got some really fond memories of. So if you didn't watch the series, it's a Mark V Golf GTI. And the idea was we did it in partnership with eBay, and it was a 6-part series. So you can go onto the PistonHeads YouTube channel, type in PH Project Car, and I even put up a video this year of all the episodes tied together. And the idea was that we would build a track car that could lap faster around a track than a Mark 8 Golf R for 10 grand. So the idea was that you don't have to spend 40, 50 grand on a car to get something really quick. And I think the reason why VW helped us out with this and gave us a Golf R to drive and go up against is that they knew that we couldn't do it. And they were right. We couldn't build a Golf R Beta for 10 grand, but we did get really close.
You got very close.
Yeah. I think we were second and a bit off around Kerbera. So we put Nankan super sticky tyres on it. We put BC Racing coilovers on it. We went to Revo to get some work done on the engine. And the best bit about it is that we left the cream leather stock. So as you were driving, so it was an incredible car to drive. As like a road car, it was really nice and comfy, but it was really flipping quick and really quite overtired. And so when you were doing the lap around Kerbera, so it's like a little figure of 8. And when I was on it, it was like driving in baby oil because the leather was so slippery and not very supportive if you were taking it on track. You were sliding all over the place, but that just made it more fun.
And Cameron does speak from experience because he often drives completely naked other than being smothered in baby oil.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
Is true, isn't it?
Yeah, that's how I like to. You know how some some runners train on sand? That's how I train around track.
Well, it's like long cross-channel swimmers. They smear lard all over themselves, don't you?
Precisely.
You're not a lard person.
I just think baby oil smells nicer.
Oh yeah.
So to be honest, when we actually started doing work on this car, we put the coilovers on. Even when we softened them up, I really wasn't a fan of it. It took me a few months to be like, okay, I think we've done the right thing. And then we handed it to. This wasn't in the video. We handed it to a guy called Charles Gates Racing, who I've brought up on this channel before. He is a master when it comes to setting up suspension. I gave it to him for a couple of hours, and it was revolution. Honestly, the difference was like, oh my God, it then just handled the road so much better. It didn't destroy my back, didn't make passengers feel uncomfortable. This is such a nicely sorted car. And the other thing as well is that yes, it's kind of on the higher mileage side now, but we spent quite a lot of money sorting the car out. It's a lovely car, and it looks mostly stock because we ran out of budget to make it look any different,
which is I think is a good thing. I like to keep things original. I'm not one of those people, although having said that, I'm about to pick a PH auction car that is very unoriginal.
Oh, go on then.
Oh, no, you carry on with that.
No, well, that's it. So basically, that's coming up for auction. It will start on Wednesday, the 29th of October. I'm going to be jealous of whoever buys it because I have such fond memories of that car. And I'm really glad that whoever has owned it last has kind of kept it as we had it. It's still got the PH sticker on the back too. So, yes, happy memories. John, what have you found?
Well, you're going to put pictures of this up, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because it's too much to describe.
If you're watching this on YouTube and you're not listening to this on a podcast, although we do now have videos on Spotify, if you're on Spotify.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, that's clever.
Yeah, it's very cool.
So go on to PistonHeads and have a look at this as quickly as possible so that before it goes and is sold. Because it's amazing. It's a 1972 Chevrolet Camaro and it's been done as a track car. Has a 7.2 litre engine, 640 horsepower with a manual gearbox. And I think it just, fully documented build with 4+ hours of footage on YouTube.
I'm sorry, John. Just I think you may have skirted over something. That's 7.2 litre V8.
Yeah.
It's classed as a small block. How do you... Because in America, if it's single digits, it's a small block.
No, but I've never understood.
I've
never understood
idea.
that because you are right. I mean, there aren't many production. I mean, unless we're going back to the 1940s or something where they might have had like a 10,000 litre.
Any time you get bigger than that, you're usually talking about something that was kind of shooting down Messerschmitts.
Yeah. So, and 7.2 litres is about as big as any American V8 in the last 50 years.
Anything larger than that is usually because the Viper V10 was an 8 litre, and so you're getting a whole 2 extra cylinders with that.
Yeah. But that, we should.
I don't know how it works, but I'm no American car expert. But what I do know is that looks freaking cool. So yeah, can you just show me? Scroll up.
Okay.
It's a 1972 Camaro.
It looks awesome.
It looks absolutely out of this world. Full cage. It's a proper race car spec. It's got a massive rear wing on it, which shouldn't work on an old muscle car, but it does.
Very much does.
It looks a bit like a Grand Am car from the 70s. So flared wheel arches, just mean.
And also, I think we like a dish, don't we? A dished wheel.
Yeah, dish wheel.
Don't we get a little bit thigh rubbing over a dished wheel?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. A bit of
been kicked out of many events for that.
Exactly. Good dish on the front.
Yeah, the rear wheel.
Mega dish on the rear.
Delicious.
I meant what I said about not really liking. I actually really like the fact that you left the project car stock. I really like stock cars.
I do.
But for some reason, this has genuinely grabbed me. And there's I think 171 pictures of this car. And honestly, you don't get bored going through them because much of them are sort of much of them are repetitions.
Because we go over every single detail for an auction so that if you don't see the car in person, you actually have a good idea of what the condition's like. But this has been built. It's got side exhaust.
Look at the side exhaust.
That has been built beautifully. That's a really, really lovely car.
It is.
While we're on the subject of modified cars, actually, we have a Nissan 200 SX road legal drift car, but this is, from what we understand, to be a Falcon tyre drift car. So it's in the full Falcon tyre livery, but we actually think this was run by the team. And also, I want to show a bit of love for the 911 Turbo that we've got, 996. People are always really nasty to 996s, and if you actually drove one, you'd realise that they're actually really quite good. You can't collect yourself.
Oh dear. If you're wondering why I'm laughing, it's because I just said a whole litany of rude words, and Cameron just had a freak out and said, "You can't say any of that."
No,
so,
absolutely.
it made me laugh. His reaction.
Giggle. If you want to bid on any of these cars, they will be available soon. So the first one that's on my list right now is I've got a V8 Vantage that's going live on the 26th of October, and all the cars that we have mentioned will be going live after that. Speaking of Italian cars, though, John, we should get on to our first subject, which is Lancia, sorry, as I've been corrected before. People don't like it when I say it with my southern Surrey accent. Is coming back to the World Rally Championship.
Are they coming back to the UK?
Well, I think we'll get onto that a little bit later.
Okay.
But first of all, because it's baby steps, right? So news came out this week that Lancia coming back to the World Rally Championship with a WRC2 car. John, do you know what that is?
No.
So
is it the second tier of World Rally Championship?
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's like Formula 2.
It's kind of like Formula 2. It gets a bit more complicated than that.
I've done myself down. I do know.
You do, yeah, exactly.
I just got scared then because you asked me a question and I panicked.
So what they've done is they actually came back to the World Rally Championship, I believe it was this year, with a Lancia Ypsilon Rally 4 car.
Oh, that's a beauty.
So this is...
everyone know what? Could you describe the
Lancia Ypsilon? Well, if you know what a Vauxhall Corsa is, or you know what a Peugeot 208 is, or you know what a Citroen C3 is, it's that with Lancia badges.
Yeah, but
it looks different. It does look a little different.
That's not strictly true because now you're looking at the one that they've just announced they're going to bring back, aren't you?
Well, that's what we're talking about.
Right.
Yes.
Well, but to be fair, that does look. I mean, that is a Vauxhall Corsa.
Yes.
You can see it, but it's just got some funny lights on. But when I think of the Ypsilon, I think of the first generation one, which everyone will know if they've ever been to France or Italy or Spain or whatever, because they sold them on continental Europe.
They did, yes.
And you'll know it because you'll know all the other cars when you're driving around. You go, oh, there's a 208, there's a Vauxhall Corsa, there's a Ford Fiesta. But when you clap eyes on a first generation Ypsilon, built between 95 and 2000-ish, they are the most ugly. And you sit there and think, and you go, that must be a Proton. It must be a Proton that I've never heard of or something. And then you go up to and you see the badge. Yeah, exactly.
It's quite like a Perodua Canary.
And then you go and look at because if you're a car person, you sort of become a bit obsessed. What is that thing? Yeah. I must go and look at it. And then you look at the badge, expecting to see some kind of startup from Korea back at that time. And you're like, that's a Lancia.
Yeah. To be fair, most people don't see the front end because if you go to Italy, they'll be so far up your backside, you'll only see the angered eyes of the Italian driver behind you.
The current one, or the forthcoming one, it just has the overall shape of an inoffensive Vauxhall Corsa stroke Peugeot 208 with some weird lights on it. Sort of almost like this back end looks a little bit kind of... GR Yaris, doesn't it?
It does look a little GR Yaris, actually. I think it's quite a smart-ish looking car. I would definitely have it over the equivalent Vauxhall.
And he's taken the visor from Ferrari.
Yes, and many other companies that enjoy a visor too.
That's Vauxhall. Vauxhall have a visor.
Vauxhall do have a visor, yeah. Honda, Toyota, many more. So it's not a bad-looking car, and it's going to be in rallying. So the car that they're now entering, so this Rally 4 car was essentially the road-going car, but with some rally bits. The WRC2 car is still based on a production car, but it's much more rallied up. So it's got bigger wings, flared arches. It's a production engine, but obviously tuned up to the max. I think they have about 350 horsepower. But what's interesting about this is that who cares? Because obviously Toyota, Hyundai, and Ford are in the top tier Rally 1. So who cares about Rally 2? But there's a regulation change coming in 2027 that will basically mean there's more crossover between WRC2 cars and what will be the top tier Rally 1. So the Rally 1 will be, if you want to make a prototype and you want to make something that's kind of ground up, space frame, chassis, go that route. And WRC2 will be if you want something more if you want something that's more production-based, you go down the WRC2 route, and they're going to try and make a little bit of parity with performance, a bit like what you have in Le Mans, where you've got LMH, which is a ground-up hybrid hypercar prototype, and LMDH, which is based on one of 4 suppliers can give you the center tub, and you build your car around that. And it's a slightly more budget-friendly version. So WRC is doing that.
Listening to you, I think I've worked out why I respect, we talked about before, respect Le Mans, but totally respect Rally. It's just listening to you describe it.
It's complicated.
Yeah, it's complicated.
It is really complicated.
And when you just go, I know there's Formula 1, Formula 2, Formula 3 and everything, but they're very prescribed series, and they're just, they're the stepping stones. They're the ladders going up to, and it's just Formula 1. And I know there's many complicated rules around Formula One, but basically people just build their own car.
Yeah.
Whereas what you're describing is just, I'm listening and my head is just about to explode with all the information.
It's so utterly complicated now, but what it does mean is that it leaves the door open for Lancia to then, if they wanted to, nothing's been announced about this, is to potentially run with the top dogs. They might even do a Rally 1 car of some kind. I've seen testing of something that's like an Ypsilon with even bigger wings. I wouldn't be surprised, but...
Did it look good?
It did, actually. So it's cool to see Lancia coming back to the WRC because they are still the most successful rally team in history. Think of all the titles that Toyota have won. Lancia is still the most successful team out there. But yeah, so Lancia was kind of nothing really for many, many years. There was a Delta that came out. I think they've kept the Ypsilon ticking over just about. There was a lot of rebadged Chryslers, which was not a good period. But this is them. I mean, they're rebadging Vauxhalls now and Peugeots. But this feels a lot more substantial. Do you think we're now getting back to a Lancia that is going to be, I hate to put it like this, a relevant Lancia?
This is the time immemorial situation, isn't it? It's exactly the same as Alfa Romeo, also incidentally owned by Stellantis. And we get all excited and we love, basically, if you're a car person, I think you just have a deep underlying kind of, it's almost like an ingrained thing in your DNA. You love Alfa Romeo because you know what they produced in the past. And if you're a car person, whether you were born in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, whenever you were born, you will have delved into history of some point and see the greatness of these cars. And Lancia, Maserati as well. We all celebrate these kind of moments where they're back.
Yeah.
You know, they've come back. Finally, this is the wait is over. And so whether it's Alfa, Maserati or Lancia,
yeah,
we just have this optimism and we will it to happen.
We want it to happen so
exactly,
badly.
Yeah. And then more often than not, it's not great.
Yeah. I mean, I guess under the Stellantis banner, understandably, there's a lot of sharing of everything.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
There's a lot. When I started with this,
yeah.
As I mentioned, this Ypsilon is a rebodied, or it's a rebodied version of. I've got a list: Peugeot 2008, Peugeot 208, Opel Corsa, Vauxhall Corsa, Jeep Avenger, Fiat 600, Alfa Romeo Junior, Peugeot 2008, Vauxhall Mocha, DS3 Crossback. Those are just some of the many cars that it shares its platform with.
And unfortunately, it would be hard to say that's a list of the top cars on sale today.
Exactly.
So this is the thing, isn't it? It's like we all will it, we all want it to happen. We're so excited, we get immediately, brilliant. And
it's like a
big corporate people don't often manage to.
It feels like something that's. This is where I'm going to potentially show my glass half full side.
Ooh,
of where
that is where you are. That's what
I
you're
am
here
usually
for.
quite good at doing.
Yeah,
it.
you are very good.
As this comes from a massive Lancia fanboy, but I think they could have done this Ypsilon and released it, and you go, oh, it's quite nice. They've tried to make it look quite swish, quite modern. You go, oh, it's quite nice. Would I have that over a Vauxhall? Obviously, I'd have many things over a Vauxhall Corsa. Would I have it over the Peugeot? Yeah, probably. I think it looks really smart. But it's this coming back to rallying maybe shows a bit more of a serious intent. It's like, okay, we really want to show off that this is going to be the Lancia before. And I understand that. I think them coming out and just going, here's a brand new car that's related to nothing in the Stellantis, under the Stellantis umbrella, you would go, that's insane. Why have you just spent millions and millions and millions developing a new car for a brand that's been dormant for years and years and years? So I see this as a stepping stone, but if it does mean that we're going to get cool new products from Lancia in the future that are rally inspired, hell yeah.
Or you've got your glass half empty.
Right.
I'm looking at that glass thinking it's the wrong size glass, and because I'm being miserable.
Yes.
Cynical. And you could just sit there and say, well, it was an obvious thing for the marketers to go, well, we've been in rallying before, but let's just do some rallying with a generic car in the cheaper series, not spend too much money on it, and then we'll sell loads of cars.
But I think that's how it started off. As like, they were like, Lancia's back in rallying with Rally 4. And it's like, well, that's just the most pathetic attempt. But what we didn't realise is that was just the start, and then building it, because they then did a Martini liveried version of it. And it's like, look, the Lancia rally car. And it's like, well, yeah, but this is the company that did the S4 and the 037. And now you're just, this is basically like the rally equivalent of go-karts. It's like, come on, guys.
And also, do you remember when Martini sponsored Williams?
Yeah.
And everyone was like really excited about that because Martini would come back to Formula One. Didn't do very well.
No, they did. Well, they did a lot better than they have been doing recently. Than they have done in recent years. Williams isn't doing too bad.
Williams is doing fifth in the constructors.
I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, Carlos Sainz on the podium twice.
Exactly, yeah. Oh, I'm a fan. But now they've followed that up with this WRC2 car, and I just feel it in my bones that there's going to be a Rally 1 or a top-tier car in the next few years. I feel like, and it's not cheap running these rally cars. It's not cheap just to go, we'll just do a rally program on the side. This feels serious to me.
Okay, so are we both, with 100%, we want it to be the start of something good, a renaissance, and brilliant if they come back to the UK as well.
And what I will add on top of that is that I think a few months ago they announced that a Delta HF Integrale is coming next year.
Okay, are we going to get it?
Well, if we just wish really hard,
okay, look,
maybe we will.
Cam, it's October
2025,
nearly November. Yeah. So we're basically nearly.
Let's come back to this in 2 years' time.
We're only 60 odd sleeps away from Christmas. So if everybody writes to Santa and
please,
says,
can we have a Lancia Delta HF Integrale, providing it's not based on a mocker? Yes.
Then I think we might be. Because I'm a great believer in collective will.
Yes. Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see if that happens. I'm feeling good about it, as I am about PistonHeads Annual Service 2026. Tickets are now available. Yes, it feels like Annual Service was only yesterday, although shockingly it was 2 months ago.
It was a year ago.
It wasn't.
Well, how can it be an annual service then?
Well, because it's already happened this year and it's happening next year. And it's going to be happening on the 8th of August 2026 back at Bicester Motion, as we have been for the last few years. You can go and get your early bird tickets now, so you get a slight discount on it. So early bird adult tickets are £21.07, because we like to be very specific at PistonHeads. If you are a child between the age of 6 and 16, it's £5.84. And if you are aged 5 or under, you can go in completely free, which is just brilliant. Head to pistonheads.com/event/annual-service to get your tickets. I know it's going to be quite hard to remember that, especially if you're listening to this and driving, so I will leave a link to it in the description and also in the article that goes up on the PistonHeads homepage. Or you can just go home and just go PistonHeads Annual Service Tickets 2026 into Google and you'll find them. So there's that. And now, topic duh. We have it's our Italian theme. Probably shouldn't be going French. Due. That's
is it?
I believe that's two in Italian. Might be wrong on that. But anyway, so what we're doing is, as usual, topic 2 is always some buying advice. We go looking around the forums for a piston header in need of some advice when buying a car. And the one I have found today comes from Alex NJ89. And this is an extremely long post, but it's one that really, really caught my attention. So basically, it's titled 35k for 1, 2 or 3 cars. How would I allocate the budget? Now, again, I'm going to leave the link to this in the description and on the PH homepage if you want to go through it, because it will take me all day to read this. But basically, they have a 2011 XJ worth about 5k that they use for daily duties, which is really cool. A 2011 XJ, that's the Ian Callum car. Really cool and awesome daily driver.
Aluminum.
Aluminum. It is an aluminium car, that one. They also have an Aston Martin V8 Vantage S, which is currently for sale for $29,995. And they say, I've got a few viewings, so hopefully it will sell soon. Now, that means that we've got some budget freeing up. What they're wondering is, do they sell the XJ and with the V8 Vantage S sold, open up a budget of 35k?
Yeah, do it.
Or do they divide that up and have a mix of cars?
Oh, I see.
So the criteria is, and I'm very much paraphrasing this, there needs to be a car that can do boring journeys, getting stuck in London, and preferably automatic. Would like a car that feels special enough to take to somewhere like Scotland and explore some of the fun driving roads. Dog often comes, so there needs to be some space for a dog. Would love a sense of occasion, which is what they get with the Aston, and also something that can go to something like a PistonHeads annual service or a Bicester Scramble and feel special and that you're contributing to the car park. I quite like the idea of that. And once in a blue moon, also go and do a track day, maybe 2 a year. One thing they also added is that they would quite like to scratch the 911 itch, and that would be of a high priority. So some of the examples that they've given is they could have a 911 PDK convertible for 35k, and that would use up the whole budget. They could also have the XJ plus one car, which is, say, a 996 C4S convertible. They also have a 2-car garage, which is maybe a 15k 996 cab or an E90 M3, or a 4-car garage, which is XJ 996 cab, E46 M3 manual for 13k. I think you might struggle to find one for 13k. That's not in need of a bit of work. And then a cheap MX-5 for some track fun. So, John, quite an extensive list of criteria. I've attacked it in a certain way. How are you approaching this?
I saw the challenge of 3 cars and was attracted to it.
3 cars for 35k does sound like fun. Yeah.
But the only thing I have done, I actually think I've stuck to most of the criteria, but there's one thing I've ignored.
Okay.
The track day.
I see. Right.
Now, the thing is, if you've got a budget and you want to split 35 grand, that's around about 12 grand, give or take, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Per car. I think I don't think the track, you're going to just destroy everything on a track. So you can do track days where you just rent the car, can't you? Just like, I'll try and save a little bit of budget here.
Okay.
And then for those 2 track days a year that they said they may do, just go and rent somebody else's car, destroy that, and then come back and drive the cars that I'm going to tell you.
Fair enough.
So I think that's good.
It's not your tyres, not your brakes.
Exactly. Yeah. And also, I don't think any of the cars that you're going to buy are going to be that much fun on track because they're going to be old enough that they won't have any brakes. The brakes will be too small and they'll overheat. Then you have to spend a load of money. Don't bother. Just go and buy something. Go and drive something good on a track that's set up and somebody else has paid for.
Yeah.
That's good advice, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems sound.
Okay.
So what have you gone for?
Right. Personally, for the sense of occasion, I don't think you can beat a Silver Shadow, and I found one for 11,995, 1977.
Yeah.
And it's bronze, and I love a bronze car. So that's your sense of occasion done. Yeah, so just to point out, so the Rolls-Royce and what I'm about to talk about, we're covering off the luxury, cosseting, long-distance.
Fulfilling the role of the XJ.
Yes. But if that's a bit too Savile Row for you, then I've got 2007 Lexus LS. I really like this shape, and I really worked hard for this one, Cam, because there are a lot of everyone bought the hybrid, and I found a V8, which means it's got a great engine. It's done 70,000 miles, and it will do 700,000 miles probably. It's got 3 previous owners. And it's got 376 horsepower of silky, naturally aspirated V8. And look at it, it's amazing.
You know I'm a big Lexus fan. Oh, it's maroon as well.
Well, also,
that's
and by the way, I've even can offer you a choice because I can offer you I think this has got the best exterior colour. It looks amazing. Or I can give you a black one with a light tan interior.
That is, I would go, it's maroony burgundy, isn't it?
This is very much maroon burgundy. Look at the wood, because this is
marvellous.
Yeah, so this one's got the black interior, but look at the woodwork.
That's redwood.
I mean,
that's very red.
When people think of redwood, they think of a wood that's slightly red.
Yes, this is like
This is
red, lipstick red.
It looks. I mean, this is typical Japanese, isn't it? Because it probably is really good quality, like actual wood. But it's so polished and so it looks fake. That's what the Japanese have never quite understood.
There's an import service from Japan, and I sometimes go on there to see kind of what interesting cars I can get and import in. So you get quite a few Alpinas in Japan that you don't get here. So B3Ss from E90 generation, you don't really get many of those. Every time I find one, they have the most red wood interiors. It's like black, black, really nice, subtle, and then bam, redwood interior. But it does look great on that LS.
And I've got,
there is a black one with a
black
cream
one. It's
interior
slightly cheaper, 700. It's done a few more miles, but look, it's got all the rear. It's got the rear entertainment package in the. Look, even a picture.
There's like a hi-fi system in the.
It is.
I know.
Exactly. It's got everything. Yeah. It's got everything.
Are those Bose headphones?
They're Lexus headphones.
They're Lexus headphones. Yeah. So still very cool.
But I mean, come on, I really do think that's an amazing looking car. I've really got a soft spot for those. I remember when they came out. So those are
very underrated.
Very underrated. Really good luxury, sort of alternative to the 7 Series. So I think I've chosen well. I've given you two very big contrasting.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Shadow, Lexus.
Great.
Okay. Car 2, I can either offer you a 1998 Mercedes-Benz SL R129. 3.2 litre, so that will be the V6 one, I think.
Yeah.
Not the straight 6 one. But that is in, I forget what colour it is, dark metallic blue, with a light interior, burr walnut, and it's done 108,000 miles.
But it looks like it's been cared for.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It looks fantastic from the outside. Really good from the outside. And we have one owner car. And I think that's fabulous little looking car, and that has a sense of occasion. Or as an alternative, so SL, other end of the extreme, because I'm so good at this. I'm so good at providing people with all this. Porsche, and he said Porsche. He wants to scratch the Porsche itch. And I know that you're going to have done something fairly mundane on that front.
Mundane?
Yeah, well, we'll get to that in a minute. But I've gone for a 1989 Porsche 944 for $12,950. So I'm kind of still in my £12,000 budget. 77,000 miles. It's an S2, so the 3 litre twin cam, 16 valve, 211 horsepower, and it looks fantastic. Look, hasn't got leather, which I actually quite like. But it's because it's an S2. It's got the oval dash, which I think still looks really, really cool.
Yeah.
Look at the stereo. Look at the number of buttons on the stereo cam.
There's so many buttons and switches, and that's a really marvellous looking interior.
It is.
Are those corduroy seats?
They're
they're cloth, aren't they?
It's velour. Yeah, velour, but it's that 90s striped.
Yes, yeah. But it looks marvellous.
Thank you.
Yeah, love that.
Thank you very much.
Not the traditional sense of Porsche that they were after, but a Porsche nonetheless.
What are you talking about, traditional?
Well, it's not a 911 as they asked for.
Well,
it's not got a flat 6.
Yeah, but I'm guaranteeing that mine is older. Mine's more classic than yours. I'm almost guaranteed. We haven't got to yours yet, but I'm going to guarantee that I've not thought the obvious.
Well, yeah, you're definitely you're very good at the left field side of things.
Finally, dogs. We've got to put the dogs in something.
Dogs have got to go somewhere.
Okay.
For the track day.
So how about again choice? I'm going through it quickly. Choice between an L322 with the 3.6 litre V8 diesel, which is the one to go for. So L322, that is a 2007. So it's the right engine.
Yeah.
But it's just the wrong side. It hasn't got the nice old grille, just simple slatted grille. Yeah. It's it's a slightly blingy one, but it's still a very, it's an L322. It's great, peak Range Rover, as I always say. Or you could have a 1995 Defender with the 2.5 TDI. That's the 5-cylinder Transit engine, isn't it?
Yeah.
For 9990, done 103,000 miles, got 6 previous owners. And it's got a little bit of it's got the Goodrich off-road tyres, and
It is purposeful.
it is purposeful. It's a 90 with a soft top at the back, and it looks kind of cool. It looks kind of cool and off-roady. I personally would think you're mad to go for the Defender, because I'm known for thinking they're awful.
Yeah.
The classic ones. So I would absolutely go for the L322 in that one, but I'm just offering choice.
There's a lot of criteria that we need to meet, and I think that going down the multi-car garage route is wise. Now, when we were preparing for this, we actually decided to have a little bit of an attack plan, and I said I would do a 2-car garage and you would do a 3, right? Because we wanted to cover off both ends of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've cheated.
Have you?
I've done my 2-car garage, but I've actually snuck a third one in there without you realising. So part of
basically you've copied me again.
No, right. This is slightly different. So what they've said is they've got this XJ worth $5,000, and I've got a feeling they're really fond of this XJ because they don't really want to let it go. There's a lot of options down there of where they say, "Oh, I keep the XJ and then I have this on top." And I think those XJs are actually really cool. And I'm thinking, you know what, for $5,000, just don't bother selling it. Just keep it, run it into the ground. Make that your daily car. Getting the dog in seems important, but there's no estates whatsoever. So I feel like the dog is going in the back seats, maybe. I don't know. So the first car that I've gone for...
Is this the sports car?
This is the sports car.
So it's a 996.
It is a 996.
That's how predictable I knew it was going to be.
Do you know why? Because I just wanted to get it done. I just like, you know what? It seems that the 996 came up a lot in that, in the criteria. And so what I've done is but there was also actually quite a lot of budget stretching. So that, we talked about getting a M3 for 13K or just scraping a 997 in for a certain amount. I thought, you know what? Let's get a nice facelifted 996, 68,806 miles. It's a Carrera 2 Cabriolet manual. So a big part of the criteria was
it's got those wheels.
Wanted a drop. Yeah, but you can change wheels. It's easy enough. Go and get. There are loads of different wheels. Just go on eBay and buy.
The worst wheels you could buy on a 996.
They are smaller wheels, and they're kind of like a modern interpretation of the Futch wheels. But
no, they're not. They're nothing.
No. As in they're very they're a very 90s/2000s interpretation of it. Very smooth. So the wheels. Some will like them, some won't. 17,450 gives me 13 odd K to get a car that fulfills the other part of the brief. So what have I got so far? I've got an XJ that will do all the boring car stuff. Mm-hmm. I've then got the 911 cab, which is going to do the driving to Scotland and road trips and convertible, because they wanted a convertible and they didn't care if it was a good to drive convertible or not, and they wanted to scratch the 911 itch. I've done that. I've ticked so many freaking boxes. The one thing that's left is a track car.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I've done, John...
Yes?
I've gone and got a Caterham.
Really?
Yeah. I found for $12,995, a 2003 Caterham Bewley. Bewley. Yeah, exactly.
Bueller.
So it's got the yellow nose with a green front and then kind of chromey or brush or kind of exposed polished aluminium bodywork in the centre. So it looks great. But one of the reasons why I've gone for this is that they weren't actually super duper powerful. So it had a 1.6 litre Vauxhall engine with 100 horsepower. But, we're talking about something that weighs half a tonne.
What Vauxhall engine? What year are we going back to? What year?
2000s, early 2003. This car.
Okay. So
it's an early 2000s Vauxhall engine with 100 horsepower. So I thought, you know what, that would be a bit of fun on a track day if you wanted to. It would be a lot of fun on a B road, but it wouldn't feel really grating like some of the properly track focused or really quick Caterhams can. I think that's quite a nice little, and there's no roof. So we know that they like a convertible.
I like the way you've gone, they like a convertible, so here's a car with no
roof whatsoever.
You're going no roof as if it's a positive.
Yeah, exactly.
No roof.
It has no roof whatsoever. Well, it will have a cover that you can put over the top, or an umbrella if you're parked up.
At least it does have a windscreen.
But again, it's a Caterham. 12,995. It looks the part. I think it will be fun at something like a when we were at annual service, we had the Caterham Owners Club, and they came out in full force, and the turnout was incredible. So you could be a part of that. You go to the car park somewhere else and feel as though you're bringing that up.
And it is in the Lotus 7 colours.
Yeah, it looks
That's
unbelievable.
good.
It does look really good. So those are my options. I like yours, John, I will admit. Although you gave me 6, even I told you explicitly, give me 3, and you gave me 6 cars, which is going to make editing so much fun. Thank you.
No, but why? I've rattled through them really quickly.
Yeah, exactly. And now
you've talked about that for far longer than I talked about all 6 of mine.
So if you like John's...
Okay, now which one are you going to go for?
Which one am I going to go for?
Which sports car and which...
I'm sorry, I know mine are a little bit straightforward, but I would go with mine. I think the one I would pinch from yours is the Lexus.
I knew you'd go for the Lexus
because I love a Lexus.
You're
Absolutely.
a bit of a Nippon fan, aren't you?
I am a Nippon fan.
You are.
But yes, so I would go for the Lexus. However, that being said, the XJ is, I believe, maybe costing them less. I mean, he's saying it's about 5k, and it's newer.
Okay.
What are you going? How are you seeing? Have I swayed you, or are you like, no, I'm sticking with it?
No, I'm going to go. So for my dog carrier, L322.
Yeah.
For my sporty, I'm going R129.
Nice. Yeah. No, I like that.
Just because of the budget, I think you would want to spend ideally a little bit more on a shadow. So
right,
I'm going to,
and
because of that aspect, well, it is bronze.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it's so cool. So I think just purely on the budget, I'm going to go for the Lexus.
There are multiple ways to let us know if you prefer mine or John's picks. You can
throw rocks at us. You can set us on fire.
Please don't do that, because John doesn't come to our events, but I do. Mm-hmm. So you can, what I'll do is I'll put up a story on this on the PistonHeads homepage. You can let us know there if you would like. You can let us know in the original thread. I'll leave a link to that in the story too. If you're on Spotify, you can also, there's a little poll that I usually put up. You can vote there if you want to, or if you just want to submit your own, go into the thread, pop them down, and then maybe leave a note and just say Cam and John were useless. Last one before we move on to our third topic. We're running a promotion with Michelin, which if you've listened to this podcast, you may know about, but if you haven't, here are the details. Basically, you can get up to £100 off a new set of Michelin tyres. Just go to pistonheads.com/Michelin, put your car details in, and you will get somewhere up to £100 off a new set of tyres.
I want to be able to do that promotion, but it's almost like I'm not allowed to because you're the grown-up in the room.
Well, I feel like if you did it, you would then go off on some massive tangent about how you once had a pair of Michelin tyres and,
turn them into a pair of slippers.
Exactly. So that's why the grown-up in the room is in charge of the plugs. Finally, this is quite a fun one to visit. So, we always try and end on something a little bit lighter, although we did do funeral cars several weeks ago. For topic 3, I have gone with White Noise's post about how did you discover PistonHeads. So we all know that there's quite a lot of people that have been on PistonHeads forums for a long time. We started it up in 1998. I didn't start. When I say we, I mean I was 5.
Yeah, Cam's taking credit for it.
Yeah.
It's all his idea. He's put all the work in.
Precisely.
He is PistonHeads.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my mere contribution is a Golf GTI, which you can bid on soon, and this podcast. So what White Noise said is, thought it'd be interesting to hear how you discovered this place. So many folks hang around here from a long time ago. I was at Le Mans in 2003. They remember seeing stickers along the sills. Looked it up when I was back, and seems I joined the forum that August. Surely there are some more exciting discovery stories than my one. So we've got Chucklebutty says, it was originally PistonHeads that was updated once or twice a week with a TVR focus, back when that was how internet sites worked. And Nutsy H says, bought a TVR in 97 and picked this site up from the TVR Car Club. As someone above says, it was called Petrolheads in those days. When we were actually at Sunday service at Regal Autosport at the weekend, I'd met a few TVR owners that had been on PH right from the very start. In fact, there was a couple there who had owned a Griffith 500 from new. and had even dealt with Peter Wheeler, who had helped them out on a few occasions too. So that was incredible. It's always amazing that you have people that have been around here since day dot. John, were you among them?
So I first became aware of PistonHeads. So when I was, I joined Haymarket, because Haymarket owned PistonHeads.
That's right,
for a while before they sold it to Car Gurus. I joined Haymarket, and I was. That was when we were at Teddington, quite a big office.
Yeah.
Actually, funny enough, I remember walking around that office thinking, I always feel like I'm in an episode of The Office walking around here.
I was going to say,
and then
Teddington Studios.
Yes, Teddington Studios, but not the studios, the office block next to the studios at Teddington. And I remember thinking, I'm really enjoying this, because I just started off in journalism and I was working for nothing. And I was like, really, and I also didn't think I could work. I've been working for myself for about 8 years, and I thought, oh God, am I ever going to be employable? Because once you've been working for yourself for so long, people say you can't ever take orders again and work for another boss. And so I'm having all these kind of conniptions about that, really enjoying it, walking around the office at Haymarket thinking, I really am having a good time here, but I do feel like I'm in an episode of The Office. And it turned out
that's where they filmed it.
I wasn't in an episode of The Office, but I was in the, because they went, we could film it in the studios, but at the time the office block was empty, so we'll just use the floor there. So that was the floor, and that was the very floor. So top tip, this is, if you're ever watching the original Office, not the American one, the original version, the UK one, and obviously it's meant to be set in Slough, but if you ever look out any of the windows, you'll either see out the back of Ricky Gervais's office, you'll see the security hut at Teddington.
Yeah.
And if you look out the other side, you'll see Teddington Lock, which I don't believe is anywhere near Slough.
No, it's actually in Teddington. But
and it's also a really beautiful place to work because you were right outside the River Thames.
See, I had the reverse of that because I did my work experience at Teddington Studios with Autocar, and then I remember watching the UK office properly a couple of years later, and I was like, this looks really familiar. Really, really familiar. I looked it up and I was just like, oh my, I was working there.
But this is the thing, it's like when because obviously it wasn't how the office was. It had been redone
but there was a lot.
But it's just like there's something about the kind of the ambience, and even though it had been refitted out and everything else, it just feels the same.
And it was different, but not massively different. I think I've got some pictures as well from that day, and it was. I mean, that would have been 10 years after The Office was filmed, but at least.
Maybe really sad because they knocked it all down, everything, studios and The Office, and I was so
good
sad.
Memories from that. Absolutely. Like discovering PistonHeads, I'm assuming you're going to say.
Yeah, exactly. And so back to the original question, which was how did I discover? When I was working there, so I was asked to clean up some mess because I was an intern.
Yeah.
And they said, go off into that broom cupboard over there. It's the third floor, over at the end of the building. And so I went up to the third floor over the end of the building. It's like a dark corner with some cobwebs and almost like an eerie presence. It's like it feels colder, when the air goes cold, and you feel a chill and the hair stand up at the back of your head, or back of your neck. And then I opened the door to this broom cupboard, and there was a dustpan there, and there's some other brooms and bits and pieces, and I could hear this noise.
That's the sound of
keyboard
clattering keys on a keyboard.
And I was like, hang on a minute, are there mice tapping on a computer here? And I looked round and I there was some old dust sheets and bits and pieces, and I pulled them apart, and you never guess what? Matt Bird and Dan Trent.
Matt Bird?
Matt Bird, Dan Trent, sitting there, that was PistonHeads.
Yeah, hiding away in a little broom cupboard, like
basically.
Harry Potter.
Yes, basically. And they were just tucked away there.
I think Harry Potter had more light.
Obviously, that's me being silly.
Yes,
but it wasn't that a million miles away from the truth, because when I did start at Autocar and Whatcar as an intern, and I was only really given a week, I think, on Autocar, and then I was given a week on Whatcar, and then Whatcar allowed me to stay on a bit, but so I basically just hung around like a bad fart that nobody could get rid of, and every week I would be told that, we've only got... So I was doing it for free, and then I think after about a month or two, they said, we've got a bit of freelance budget. Would you stay around?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. This is good. So I kind of stayed around doing freelance. But then pretty much every week, the editorial director would come and have a conversation with me and say, we think we're running out of freelance budget.
Yeah.
So we probably won't have any more work for you. So you should really go and find some other work. And you see, because I'm actually quite, I don't know, stupid or lazy or just scared, I was really happy. I was working for Haymarket, right? It was like, with Autocar and What Car and all. And I was really happy, so I just buried my head in the sand.
Yeah.
The only thing I did do is take his advice, and I walked around to like classic and sports car.
Yeah.
And then I eventually did find Matt and Dan Trent. And it did feel like
they were in a corner.
They were kind of very much tucked away in the corner. And I remember, and I said, "Have you got any? Would you have any, freelance work?" And they just looked at me as if to say, "No, we've got no budget for our. We can barely pay
We're
ourselves."
sharing a computer here.
Yeah, they were writing on a Commodore 64, I think, and it's like it's just this sort of incredulous look as if to say, "No, of course we haven't got any budget." That was my
how
first
things have changed.
But before then, that was my first experience of meeting PistonHeads. But before then, I had known PistonHeads through selling cars.
Yes. Yeah.
So either buying cars through PistonHeads or selling cars through PistonHeads.
Yeah.
Because they tended to advertise the kind of cars that I was interested in.
Of course, and you were very much of the higher end stuff as well back then. You've kind of lowered your more Skodering now. Whereas,
that's a nasty little dig, isn't it?
I on the other hand, I think because I grew up with my dad and my brother are big car people, and so it was just a household name for us. Really, it was just something of where, I remember going to a Sunday service years and years and years ago. I think it was at Rolls-Royce, and it would just be pointing out cars that we had read about on PistonHeads, and some of the regulars would bring it along, and it was almost like they were kind of mini little car celebrities. And then it was shortly after that I went to college. I studied creative things like photography and media. And in my photography class, it got pretty boring at times. And I had a mate who was like, "Oh, you should get on this website. It's called PistonHeads." And I was like, "Oh, I know PistonHeads."
Lots I'm learning about you today.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm learning about, the fact you went to college.
I did,
Amazing.
I did. I just about scraped an education.
You're a creative.
Yeah.
And you have a mate.
It's surprising.
Was he the one that called you Ron?
Not anymore. So he was like, "Oh yeah, you should get on PistonHeads," and it was spotters that we used to get really excited about. So pretty much from that point, it was about 2010. For the next 10 years, I would always spend time on PistonHeads, just looking at spotters. I would go on pretty much every day, every other day, just to see what was up. And then 2020 came about, and I was on the launch of the Toyota GR Yaris, and our editor, Nick Cackett, was also on the launch. It was the first time I'd met him. And
what was that like? What was your first time meeting Nick like?
Oh, it was great. So what happened was I took this GR Yaris out. This was in COVID, so you weren't sharing cars with other people. You were basically handed the keys and told to run off and have some fun. So I was in this GR Yaris, and I was really excited about it. And within the first 5 meters of driving it, I was like, "This thing's incredible." And I remember having this incredible drive on it, and I was like, "This thing feels really special." So I came back, and I was still relatively new in reviewing cars at the time. And I saw Nick, and I knew who he was. And I went up, and I was just like, "I'm sorry, is this car as good as I think it is? Because this is freaking incredible." And he went, "Yeah, it's pretty special, mate." And then
so I can hear him.
Yeah,
it's pretty special, mate.
Pretty special,
mate.
And so I then went back out for another drive, and as I was leaving, we both left at the same time, and he had an Alpina B5 press car at the time. So I had a little bit of a chat with him at the Alpina. I thought he was. I was like, I enjoyed talking to him, and then we kind of went our separate ways. And kind of after then, I was like, oh, okay. I knew I wanted to work for PistonHeads, but after then, it's when you know that the people that work there are people you want to work with, it makes you want to work there even more. So I then applied for a job at PistonHeads for a position called features editor, and I was so excited about this. I was like, because I got through quite a few stages, and wasn't really enjoying my job at the time. There was a lot of pressure to get there. I was like, I have to get this, and I missed out.
And what happened? Who got it?
I missed out to someone who was sat next to me. So that's, do you know what's the annoying thing is when you miss out on a job against someone, and then you meet that person, and you kind of get along with them, and you kind of like them. That's what's really annoying.
Do you know what I is a funny thing? is that they offered me the job and I turned it down. And then when they
honestly.
said, oh, we'll give it to
We
Cam
really
Tate.
don't want to give it to the other guy.
I said, no, if you're going to give it to Cam, I'll just take it.
Yeah, like, I've not met him before, but I've heard things.
Just, yeah.
And then, and then I was in quite a funk. And then I...
Sorry, Cam.
Yeah,
I didn't know anything. It's not like
fine.
I didn't do it deliberately.
I've just about got over it. And then a year later, another position came up and I got it. And I'm now here at PistonHeads and I'm so happy. So that's how I discovered PistonHeads and came out to work here. And I've just pretty much told your story of how you came to work here as well.
Yeah.
And now we're on a podcast together and everything is swell.
It's amazing how things happen, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a little thing called life. And on that note... that was an episode of the Gassing Station podcast. Thank you so much for listening. John, you said you wanted to do a plug. Do you want to tell people about 5-star reviews?
Okay. Give us a 5-star review or I'll come round your house and do knock down Ginger.
Who's Ginger?
This way, what do you mean who's Ginger? Don't you know what knock down Ginger is?
No.
It's when you...
I'm a millennial, John. I was born... I just about remember the turn of the millennium.
I think maybe I've got it wrong. I have a feeling I think knock down Ginger's when you stick a poo on someone's doorstep, cover it with newspaper, set fire to the newspaper, ring on the bell so that when they open the door they stamp on the newspaper and get poo on their feet.
Oh my God, honestly.
On that
note, I'm going to be going back to doing the plugs. And I'm not going to let you say anymore. See you next Tuesday.